Hello and welcome to another episode of Business and Bubble Tea. Here on the podcast today, we have with us Joseph Lam, the co-founder of Wubuntu. Joseph, it's fantastic to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much, William. It's also a pleasure to greet you here from South Africa.
Amazing.
Welcome, Joseph.
Welcome.
Can you tell us
Thank you,
more
thank you.
about Ubuntu? Maybe starting from the name, or when did it start, when you arrived in South Africa, and when you started this company, Ubuntu?
Wow, that is a lot of questions. But
You
okay,
can
let's
start
start with the
from
names.
what you want, just to give
Okay,
some ideas.
Okay, I'll take it one by one. So let's start with the name. Our name Ubuntu actually it originates from a native Bantu language. If you're taking out the W, so the spelling is W-U-B-U-N-T-U. So if you're taking out the W in the first alphabet, Ubuntu, it's a phrase that was used in the native Bantu tribe in the past. So it describes people's interaction and how groups of people can influence each other. So, but in general, I can rephrase it as I am because you are. Or you can say my existence because of your existence. Yeah. So yeah,
and what struck you about choosing that as the name for the company?
Because I'm not a locally born South African. I am from Hong Kong, born and raised there. But after so this comes to why do I start this company and how do I found this company? So back in 2017, I was still doing my university degree. So I had an opportunity that my now co-founder, whom he is doing his PhD study in the University of Cape Town back then, is inviting me over to help him because he had a little side business back then, operating a guest house. So he uses this guest house to help him with the research studies because he is doing anthropology. So as an anthropologist, you have to do a lot of interviews with people. So he is operating this guest house as a venue to host these interviews and chats with his target audience, his research group. So it needs to be set up. So he needs a helping hand. I myself finding available. So he invited me over. So he and I goes a long way back. He was my high school teacher.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a student-teacher thing. So, but
amazing.
Not as strictly teacher because while he never taught me, so I only know him because he is the teacher at the school. But I re-encounter him at university on the first day of my university life. So I get on the school bus heading home. And then I saw him getting on as well. So I was wondering, why is my high school teacher doing here, hey? And then I just greet him. And then, well, interestingly, he is working at the university. So yeah, we get reacquainted. I was helping him with his work as a student assistant back then. So getting a lot of working opportunity with him. So we collaborated well. So yeah, he think of me while he was he in South Africa setting up his startup guest house. Sorry, yes, guest house. So I got the opportunity to come here for a whole summer. So well, that summer was really special for me. First of all, at that time I never stepped outside of Asia. So Africa was my second continent, which I ever stepped in. Which blows my mind in the sense of how different it is and the culture and my expectation to it.
Was there any other kind of gravitating factor for you coming from Hong Kong going to South Africa? Was there any preconceptions you had about the continent before you went out there?
Actually, I would say, well, dangerously zero. Yeah, I had
Zero.
no, yeah, pre any knowledge prior my arrival of Cape Town or
Mm.
South Africa. But I know it's a beautiful country. I
Yep.
thought there will be a lot more wild or natural than than it is, or my expectation of it. But of course, I'm sure if you heard of Cape Town, it is a very beautiful city, and it's very well developed and with a lot of Western influences. So
And when did
it blows my mind.
the idea
Yeah,
of
Robert.
of Ubuntu came up? Going back to
Oh
the
yes,
bus meet the
that's when
professor.
I had the desire or the intention to make South Africa part of my career. So that's when I want to do something about this place, and I want to incorporate South Africa into my career development or whatsoever. So but I am not that well, as a uni graduate, you don't really have the resources or knowledge to start anything big, such as to make your career into one place. So well, I try to build up some experience and also some work connection at the while I was working for the first 2 years after graduation. And we being a startup, we participated a lot of startup competitions, and we try to get some funding from government and from some NGO or some organization that are willing to help us.
And can I just quickly ask, what was the problem that you identified that you wanted to solve that you were pitching?
All right. Yeah. So apart from my love for this place, I see people are especially people from generally in China or Asia has no concept of Africa or does not know anything about what's happening in this big land. So the world, it seems to them, is only like in the North America, Europe, and also like the eastern part of Asia. So to most of the younger generation. So their exposure were mostly based on these, big cities or in the pop culture influences. So they don't have much conception about Africa or and its culture. So there is a lot of misconception. Well, raised by like also like social media, people making a lot of stereotyping, and also from the news, because the news, they always telling you some bad things. Hey, so there's not many good things or appreciation of Africa in general. So we identify this as a problem because we see a lot of business opportunity or career opportunity for like Asian or for other young people to invest themselves in Africa. So of course there is a lot of big development associated with China and Africa in Africa, and there is a lot of job opportunities or career development opportunities for the young people. But because of this misconception, a lot of people are hesitant to go to try themselves into another culture. So that is why we came up with the idea of intercultural empowerment. So we try to first of all maybe correct their misconception, and and also for them to improve their cultural acceptance of other cultures.
What do you think's the key to achieving that? What was the kind of, I guess, in a sense, your value proposition there? Like, what do you think is the key to ensuring that you have those kind of qualities learned?
So our method is to provide opportunity for them to expose to the culture. So exposure is very important, especially in the past 2-3 years when COVID is a problem. So people are really lacking of the social interaction, even in their local aspects. So let alone international exposure. So we try to use the concept of intercultural engagements and
Mhm.
to try to provide opportunities for like young people, for like university students or fresh graduates, to have the opportunity to be exposed to the foreign culture, for them to be more, simply put,
Yeah.
and
What
also
what
to
kind
be
of exposure was this? Was this kind of like work opportunities, or was it like I guess cultural festivals where you can share your culture with others, or what kind of thing, food, or what kind of ways or events did you have for facilitating this?
So we have to fit into the taste of young people. So,
Mm.
work opportunities, that is one. We organize internship programs for the
Mm.
students, in during their study, for them to come here, or working online with the South African organizations, which they make friends with them to learn about their cultures, learn about their stories. And another fun fact that I found out today, or in the past week, that one of our intern that used to participate our program
Yeah.
start her own startup and start bringing students over. And
Amazing.
In South
amazing,
Africa as
amazing. Yeah,
well.
I love this. I can't be more happy for her. He found her career
That's
in,
great.
through our internship program, or maybe she already has the idea, but through us, she obtained some connection and building something for
That's
herself.
good.
Yeah, amazing.
When
So
you
yeah,
when you talk
that is.
about I'm sorry. When you talk about opportunities, what do you see as the biggest industry for opportunities for Asians coming to South Africa, for example, or vice versa? What do you see maybe the biggest industry where there are more opportunities, or maybe even going to startups, or what do you see?
So it has to be, I don't know, but maybe it's policy backed. So as of right now, we see a lot of big investments in infrastructure technology from Asia to Africa. So they also need a lot of um, support from like young people, or they need a lot of human resources to work in the cultural communication field.
Mm.
I'm not sure if you heard about, there was a news back in when COVID just started. There is a Chinese factory owner in South Africa, whose intention is to try to keep their factory workers away from the virus. So that he required all the factory workers to be stay in the factory, during the whole outbreak.
Right.
But it was regarded as inhuman treatment for the factory
Mm.
workers. These are the problems of intercultural communications.
Yep.
Like the shop owner, is only for his own good intention, try to keep them healthy, and then working, at whenever
Yep.
they're working. But these workers, they have different concepts. So these
Mm.
miscommunication has been disrupting, the whole Africa-Asia collaboration. So yeah, I believe by providing our young people opportunity to be exposed to different cultures, it can contribute back to like problem like this, or to even facilitate further development. Like our intern, whom she is starting her own business, in Asia Africa concept. Yeah, so fascinating.
And I wanted to ask, where do you see Ubuntu going forwards? Are you going to what's the, I guess, growth plan with this opportunity? Are you going to focus on, I guess, roles within certain sectors, opportunities for this cultural exposure with on an industry basis? How do you project your kind of future strategy?
Mm. So we are still very young. We only 2 years of age. We try
Mm.
out different ideas and tested out different products.
Mm.
Thanks to our funder giving us some money to try out different things, and
Nice.
yeah, having some error room. But yeah, we in this year we entered a very interesting field in the art industry. So earlier this year, we helped a Johannesburg-based art gallery called Guns and Rains. Exhibited their artworks in an art exhibition in Hong Kong, Art Central. So yeah, we also see art as a medium for cultural communication, and it has been gaining popularity, I believe, in Asia for African arts. So people knows Africans or Africa has a lot of art and culture, and they would like to explore more about this. And however, there is also there is a barrier here where the lack of information can be delivered to the African art galleries or artists, whether they can go to Asia to do exhibitions or present their work. So yeah, I find another role here as a company that we can do this bridge between the African artists or art galleries and also the art industry in Hong Kong or China or Asia, so that to facilitate the cultural communications. Yeah,
that's great.
So that is
you're also organizing a summit soon in January, if I'm not wrong. What is it about? What's going to be the main topic of the summit?
So the summit is based on the development plan of the Northern Cape province of South Africa. So they have formulated a development plan which shall be met by 2040. So about inequalities, about economic development, about agricultural development. So there is a lot of ideas or needed implementation or needed needed support. So I see, I see these opportunities haven't been promoted or acknowledged by the Asia side. So this academic conference using academics as a framing, we try to obtain some like business support or investment opportunities for the Northern Cape province to gain some awareness, to also to obtain some maybe some funding from the business sector to help them develop. So yeah.
And we have time for one final question, and I just wanted to ask, coming from Hong Kong to South Africa and having launched Wubuntu there, and you've mentioned a bit about cross-cultural communication, how it's so important. What particularly struck you about South Africa and its culture that's made you want to say? What affinity have you had with it that's really drawn you to stay in South Africa?
I believe it's the joy of intercultural communications. I always find sparks, like there is some new thing I learned about you today. Yeah. That is the fun part of my work. I to this moment I still love the whole communication process, and and to understand people's story and and their background. Also by learning their stories, I can be more understanding of their culture or of their decisions. So that is I think that is one important point of communication or like getting intercultural communications. So
amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
that's super interesting. That's all we've got time for today, but thank you so much for joining us on Business and Bubble Tea. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, William. Thank you, Roberta.
Thank you, Joseph.